Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 597 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin jumped off the Scorpion Temple and charged at the drum in the sky. The yin blade in his hand gave off a cold aura. This cold aura seemed to be able to freeze anything and shouldn't be allowed to exist. The sound of the drum echoed, and as it echoed in Wang Lin's bones, countless shadows came out of the ripples created by the drum. Every single shadow wore red armor like blood celestial soldiers. Thousands of them appeared, and they charged at Wang Lin with powerful killing intent. This was the second of the three internal arcane tribulants, the Blood Shadow Tribulant. The blood shadows formed by this tribulant were no weaker than arcane void cultivators and would not die. Even if they were destroyed, they could be born from the ripples once more. This endless cycle became a nightmare to anyone going through this tribulant. Most importantly, every time one of the shadows died, their strength would increase slightly. If it was delayed too long, they would be able to erase the cultivator going through the tribulant. Ordinarily, cultivators rarely faced these three internal arcane tribulants back to back. Most people would exit by force once they passed the first internal arcane tribulant. Then, after they had prepared sufficiently, they would come to try the Blood Shadow Tribulant. The terrifying part of this tribulant was that it couldn't be destroyed. Therefore, not many could pass it. Wang Lin didn't know how others had passed the Blood Shadow Tribulant, but he had his own method. As the thousands of blood shadows closed in, Wang Lin floated in the sky and a monstrous golden light shined from his eyes. Under this golden light, Wang Lin's gaze gave off a powerful suppression force. This came from the fragment of the sword the green-robed old man had fused into his eyes. Even the scorpion soul had been suppressed by this gaze, so there was no need to talk about the blood shadows. Wang Lin's gaze swept through the sky. All the blood shadows hit by gaze trembled and no longer dared to move. They revealed fear and felt as if heaven itself had descended upon them. The invisible pressure made it feel like they would be ruthlessly destroyed if they took even half a step forward. After his gaze swept by them, his cold voice echoed. Scram! His voice wasn't loud, but when it landed in the bodies of the thousands of blood shadows, it was like the might of the heavens. Their bodies trembled and the subconsciously rated. They were illusions formed by the three internal arcane tribulants, so they didn't have much intelligence, but felt instinctive fear toward Wang Lin's gaze. They retreated thousands of feet and disappeared back into the ripples. People used various methods to pass this tribulant, but there had never been anyone who was able to do nothing but still scare the blood shadows to the point where they wouldn't even dare to step forward. As the blood shadows disappeared, Wang Lin rushed into the sky toward the giant drum. The drum was about to release the third beat. However, because it could be hit, Wang Lin closed in and raised the yin blade. He chopped down on the giant drum. With this chop, Wang Lin's five-element true body and overlapping shadows appeared. They raised their right hands and the yin blade appeared. 3 strikes followed Wang Lin's attack. When Wang Lin's yin blade hit the drum, the third beat rang out. However, it was completely covered by the howl of the yin blade and the rumble of the collision, so it couldn't be heard at all. The 3 blades from Wang Lin's 5-element true body landed on the drum. From afar, it looked like 4 heaven-splitting blades had chopped down on the giant drum. Endless rumbles echoed as cracks appeared on the drum and it collapsed. The drum scattered into countless pieces, creating a powerful storm. The third internal arcane tribulant hadn't even appeared when Wang Lin destroyed the root of the 3 internal arcane tribulants. After passing through 6 arcane tribulants, Wang Lin's expression became more serious and he was no longer as carefree as before. These 3 internal arcane tribulants were much more powerful than the previous 3. Wang Lin had to use the suppression eyes and the yin blade for these. According to his analysis, the last 3 tribulants would be far more powerful than the 3 internal arcane tribulants. They were the gap that blocked cultivators from reaching the void tribulant stage. Wang Lin landed on the tail of the scorpion and the yin blade slowly retracted into his hand. He looked at the sky and waited for the last 3 arcane tribulants to arrive. The green-robed old man had not only given Wang Lin the suppression eyes and the yin blade, but also the celestial vein formed by the hair of the celestial ancestor. This vein allowed Wang Lin to fuse celestial energy and ancient energy to a certain degree. That strand of hair contained dense celestial energy and could become Wang Lin's celestial bloodline. Although this hair couldn't perfectly make Wang Lin's celestial energy and ancient energy fuse, it had a certain effect. At least extremely pure celestial energy could flow through the vein formed by this strand of hair. This celestial energy would allow Wang Lin to use a treasure that made him almost invisible in the cave world. This treasure could threaten real early-stage void tribulant cultivators. At this moment, Wang Lin silently pondered as he looked at the sky, and he remained motionless. The sky became dark and the clouds scattered, but a moment later, a ghostly light came from the sky. This ghostly light contained a strange feeling, and it soon gathered to form a giant seal. This seal looked like a ghostly face, but it gave off the aura of the law of the world. It was as if its existence was part of how the world functioned. Wang Lin's pupils shrank as he stared at the seal. When the seal appeared, it gave him a looming sense of crisis, but he didn't know how this crisis would reveal itself. "This is the seventh tribulant," Wang Lin frowned and let out a cold snort. He was about to wave his hand to scatter this tribulant, but his expression changed. He sensed that something was wrong with his origin soul. His origin soul was originally very powerful and was sitting inside his body, but at this moment, it showed signs of withering. In one breath of time, his origin soul had withered rapidly. At this speed, it would only need 7 breaths for Wang Lin's origin soul to dissipate and for him to die. This sudden change shook Wang Lin's heart, and for the first time, he profoundly understood the terror of the arcane tribulants. If he wanted to delay the withering of his origin soul, he would have to devour a large amount of power of the world. Time was of the essence as Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he opened his mouth to inhale. The power of the world around him moved, but he could not devour it. The surrounding area was shrouded by the mysterious force from the arcane tribulant. Others could not enter, and not even the power of the world could enter. The second breath arrived and Wang Lin's origin soul withered even faster. What a good 7th tribulant! Wang Lin suddenly raised his head and charged at the seal in the sky. He raised his right hand and threw a punch as he closed in. With this punch, the ancient Dao shadow appeared behind Wang Lin and also threw a punch. However, this punch went through the seal and didn't damage it at all. The seal seemed to be only an illusion, it could be seen but not touched. With this punch, the third breath arrived and Wang Lin's origin soul withered once more. It had already withered down to almost half of its original size. Wang Lin's expression immediately became gloomy. This 7th tribulant was the first of the 3 soul tribulants. This tribulant was called the 10-breath soul withering tribulant. Many cultivators had died to this tribulant throughout the countless years. Their origin souls withered after 7 breath, leading to their death. This tribulant was very strange in that it killed silently, which also made it extremely terrifying. The seal in the sky was the key, but it couldn't be destroyed. It would remain there until the cultivator died, then it would dissipate. Wang Lin stared at the seal in the sky and thoughts flashed through his mind. I underestimated this arcane tribulant. This tribulant is very interesting. It is withering my origin soul, and all the power of the world has been sealed, so I can't absorb it to replenish. This is the only way. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He couldn't absorb the power of the world within the area, but there was another extremely pure power of the world here. It was the scorpion soul. Without hesitation, Wang Lin moved when the 4th breath arrived. He raised his hand and pressed it down on the scorpion temple. The scorpion temple trembled. Wang Lin's hand seemed to contain a powerful suction force, and a miserable scream came from the temple. When the 5th breath arrived, a soul fog scattered from the temple and rushed toward Wang Lin's hands. It turned into power of the world and was absorbed into his body. The scorpion soul had been cut into 6 pieces by Wang Lin. He had absorbed 4 of them to reach the arcane void stage, while the last 2 pieces were hiding inside the scorpion temple. Normally, it would be very difficult for Wang Lin to find, but along with the increase in his cultivation level and having absorbed the 4 pieces before, he had a connection with the scorpion. With this connection, he easily found the remaining 2 pieces of the scorpion soul and pulled them out. The scorpion soul was composed of dense power of the world. When Wang Lin absorbed it, his origin soul rapidly recovered. The sixth breath arrived and Wang Lin's origin soul withered once more. However, with the power from the scorpion soul, it reached a balance. However, this wouldn't last for too long, and as time passed, it would collapse. Unless Wang Lin could find even more power of the world to replenish his body. Most cultivators survived this tribulant by devouring pills and other things to resist this withering by force. If they could survive the first 7 breaths, they would only need to endure 3 more after to complete the 10 breaths of this tribulant. However, the last 3 breaths were even more terrifying than the previous 7. Even the most rich cultivators would find it difficult to survive. This was because the withering was much faster than the digestion of pills. Before they could even absorb enough from the pills, their origin soul would wither to nothing. Therefore, the quality of the pill was very important. Even with the best pill, surviving this tribulant was very difficult. A better pill would mostly provide one with a bit more confidence. This tribulant put the cultivator in a very passive state. They could do nothing but endure. Since ancient times, everyone could only endure it. Even Grand Empyreans did this. They could only endure this tribulant with large amounts of pills and the fear in their hearts. Even the 2 legendary Grand Empyreans who passed through 9 arcane tribulants in a row had endured it. Once 10 breaths passed, this tribulant would dissipate on its own. When the 7th breath ruthlessly arrived, the balance in his origin soul collapsed. His origin soul rapidly withered, but his expression didn't change. During the time he managed to stall, he rapidly thought of a way to break this tribulant. If I want to endure it, then I must quickly find where the true soul of the Green Devil Scorpion is suppressed. With the true soul of the Green Devil Scorpion, it should be easy to pass this tribulant. But it will not be easy to absorb the suppressed true soul, and it would require time. I just don't know how long. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. Tribulant is also a fortune. I still believe this. Although it is strange, it is only a tribulant after all. To wither my origin soul. I want to see if the withering force of this tribulant is stronger than my faith. Wang Lin raised his head and his eyes released a powerful light of faith. With Wang Lin's wisdom, he saw through the key of passing this tribulant and knew how others had survived it. This method was extremely passive, allowing themselves to be controlled by the tribulant and survive like a dog. Wang Lin didn't want this kind of choice. I have enough faith, my origin soul also contains my faith. I want to see how this tribulant will destroy me with this faith. Wang Lin looked at the seal in the sky with determination. He had faced divine retribution many times in his life and no longer felt any awe toward it. He only felt the determination to rise above the heavens. When the 8th breath arrived, Wang Lin raised his head and his origin soul rapidly withered until only a trace remained. However, this trace contained his faith to never give up and his determination to revive Li Muwen. This sliver of origin soul could not wither in the 8th breath. It continued to exist just like Wang Lin's determination. I believe my origin soul is immortal. I believe my existence is inextinguishable. I believe my life is in my own hands. The 9th breath passed and his body trembled, but his expression didn't change. The 9th breath carried with it the power to wither his entire origin soul and destroy him. However, that trace of origin soul containing his faith remained after the 9th breath passed. This was no longer an origin soul but the power of faith. The heavens and earth could erase all origin souls, but they could not destroy one's faith. If no faith remained, then that person's life would be at the hands of the heavens and earth. They could complain to the heavens, but in the end, it was their own doing. Because they had given up their faith. But Wang Lin hadn't. His faith was like a raging fire. He looked at the seal in the sky with a gaze that could shock the heavens. I believe this tribulant will disappear. I believe I can revive WANR. I believe I can step onto the peak of the world. Wang Lin roared at the sky, and his faith was heaven-shattering. The 10th breath descended with the power to destroy Wang Lin's faith. It was like an angry wave rushing to destroy his faith. But in the end, even after the 10th breath passed, Wang Lin's origin soul containing his faith still existed. Not only did it remain, but it suddenly erupted. The might of the heavens and earth can destroy my body, destroy my origin soul, destroy my soul, but it can't destroy my faith. Wang Lin roared and stepped into the sky. Compared to the world, he was like an ant, but he had an aura that could change the world erupting from this body. He charged at the seal in the sky, and when he got close, he raised his hand to rip the illusionary seal. With this, the illusionary seal took the impact of Wang Lin's faith and showed signs of becoming solid. Under Wang Lin's tearing, it suddenly collapsed. The moment the seal collapsed, Wang Lin's withered origin soul instantly recovered. In a flash, it reached a peak and became bigger once more. The seventh tribulant, the 10-breath soul withering tribulant, collapsed before Wang Lin. The moment the seventh tribulant collapsed, the world changed greatly. As light shined, the second seal appeared in the sky. The second seal was completely different from the one before. It was even more complex and gave off an endlessly ancient aura. The moment the seal appeared, the eighth tribulant, the life soul tribulant, appeared. The 10-breath life soul tribulant, the second of the soul arcane tribulants, didn't damage the origin soul but lowered the lifespan of the origin soul. This tribulant would turn into the flow of time. A cultivator's lifespan was not endless, and they would eventually reach the end, just like the soul. The soul life tribulant lasted just a moment, but this moment could be millions of years or only hundreds of years. When the soul returned, the soul would die. 1,000,000 years in an instant, this tribulant is much more bizarre than the previous. It was not meant to kill the cultivator, its purpose was to make the cultivator sacrifice lifespan willingly. This tribulant was closely related to the ninth tribulant. If someone could offer 100,000 years of lifespan, then the ninth tribulant will be extremely simple and one could easily pass it. However, very few people at the arcane void stage had more than 100,000 years of lifespan left. Unless one had great fortunes, it was impossible. But if one didn't sacrifice the lifespan, then the odds of surviving the ninth tribulant were only 10%. In the eighth tribulant, the cultivator had the initiative to decide for themselves how much lifespan to sacrifice. Generally, those that dared to enter the eighth tribulant had their own plans. They would calculate how much lifespan they needed to cultivate and then would painfully sacrifice the rest to increase their chance of passing the ninth tribulant. Your lifespan wouldn't increase after entering void tribulant unless you became a Grand Empyrean. Otherwise, however much lifespan you had remaining after the sacrifice at the eighth tribulant was how much lifespan you would have left in the void tribulant stage. Unless you encountered another fortune, it could not be changed. Wang Lin looked at the second seal in the sky. After he saw the seal, some extra thoughts appeared in his mind. These thoughts allowed Wang Lin to instantly understand the eighth tribulant through some mysterious methods. After understanding the eighth tribulant, Wang Lin thought about a lot of things. He didn't know how the seven-colored celestial sovereign had passed this tribulant, but he likely had another fortunate encounter. He also understood that what he thought before was wrong. Many cultivators that he saw that were stuck in the arcane tribulant stage were mostly stopped at the eighth tribulant. This tribulant didn't need to be passed. As long as one sacrificed to it, then they could withdraw. Even sacrificing 1 year would complete the eighth tribulant. However, passing the ninth tribulant would be even more difficult. Wang Lin silently pondered for a long time and then his eyes lit up. He charged at the seal in the sky and closed in. He pressed his hand toward the seal. I sacrifice 1 year. As his words echoed, his body trembled. It was very weak and almost indiscernible. The seal before him slowly dissipated. The eighth tribulant disappeared. The moment the eighth tribulant scattered, Wang Lin could choose to leave, but he didn't. He looked up at the sky, waiting for the last tribulant to appear. If he could pass the last tribulant, he would break through arcane void and become a void tribulant powerhouse. Wang Lin took a deep breath and revealed a solemn expression. He had passed 8 arcane tribulants in a row and was going to face the 9th and final arcane tribulant. He raised his left hand and reached at the void. Golden light shined and a Li Guang bow that hadn't appeared for a long time appeared in Wang Lin's left hand. His right hand pulled the bowstring back into a full moon and, in a flash, the Li Guang arrow appeared. He raised his head and looked at the sky. Killing intent appeared in his eyes. The five-element true body behind him also raised its hand and an illusory Li Guang bow and arrow appeared. Thunder flashed between Wang Lin's eyebrows and his thunder essence true body containing a destructive aura appeared behind the five-element true body. It raised its left hand and pulled back its right hand. An illusory Li Guang bow and arrow appeared in its hands as well. When he only sacrificed 1 year of life to the 8th tribulant, he made up his mind. He wasn't going to pass the 8th tribulant, he was going to destroy it. No matter how powerful this tribulant was, he would not consider it, because he was going to destroy it. Simply passing the tribulant 8 times was not enough. Simply resisting the last one would not fit his character. Wang Lin had a hatred for these calamities from the heavens that he didn't even understand himself. This hatred manifested during the many times he had to face them in his life. If one looked for the root of this hatred, it started back on planet Suzaku in the cave world. When he held Li Muwen as he let out a roar of anger and despair at the heavens. As Wang Lin pulled back the Li Guang bow, celestial energy came from the vein formed by the hair of the celestial ancestor and rushed into the Li Guang bow. It caused the bow to shine brightly, and the golden light shrouded Wang Lin's figure. The golden light seemed to turn into a golden dragon. It roared at the sky and seemed like it was going to charge into the sky to destroy the world. At the same time, blue, red, and yellow light came from the Li Guang bow in the hand of his five-element essence true body. These 3 lights were the water, fire, and earth essences. The 3 different lights formed 3 different colored dragons. On Wang Lin's right, his thunder essence true body coldly stood there and thunder covered the Li Guang bow in its hand. The thunder lit up the world and the 5th dragon appeared. The dragon that appeared was a thunder dragon covered in thunder, and it gave off a destructive aura. This aura suppressed the five-element true body and even Wang Lin's original body. From afar, this was an extremely shocking scene. 5 dragons that could devour the heavens roared. In the sky, the last seal appeared. This was the 9th arcane tribulant. This tribulant was named Reincarnation. The last threshold preventing a cultivator from reaching the void tribulant stage. The moment the seal appeared, a powerful pressure that could change the world appeared. People would lose themselves inside the reincarnation cycle, unable to pull themselves out before they died. Tribulant destruction. Wang Lin let out a shocking roar. His voice penetrated the golden light around him and spread out in all directions. It entered the ears of all the Green Devil Continent cultivators that were shocked by everything they had just witnessed. Tribulant destruction. He went through 8 arcane tribulants in a row, and for the 9th arcane tribulant, he is not facing it, but rather destroying it. This kind of arrogant thing. This is something only Lord Green Devil could do. Their faces were pale and their hearts were shaken by those 2 words. Inside the golden light, Wang Lin's figure loosened the bowstring. The moment the bowstring was loosened, its dense celestial energy was rebounded onto the arrow. The arrow shot out with a thunderous howl. The arrow shot out after the howl. From afar, this was no longer an arrow, it was clearly a golden dragon. The howl was the roar of the dragon, and the golden arrow as the body of the dragon. The moment the arrow appeared, the world changed colors, the heavens retreated, and all living things were alarmed. The rising golden dragon carried an indescribable aura as it rushed into the sky. Behind it, Wang Lin's five-element true body moved its right hand. A thunderous rumble echoed as blue, red, and yellow dragons followed the golden dragon into the sky. Not just 1, but a total of 4 dragons, 4 arrows shot into the sky. It wasn't only 4, but 5. Wang Lin's thunder essence true body on his right loosened its hand as well. A thunderous rumble that could destroy the world echoed as it loosened the bowstring. A thunder dragon rushed into the sky. This dragon contained the aura of destruction, the aura of restriction, and also the heavenly thunder that had fused together to form a power that could destroy all life. 5 dragons tearing the heavens. 5 arrows to seal the fate of the heavens. Wang Lin's golden arrow touched the 9th arcane tribulant's reincarnation seal and erupted its full power. The seal trembled as if it was going to collapse. Shortly after, the 3 arrows of the 5 elements arrived. The thunderous rumble was still echoing when 3 thunderous bangs suddenly rang out. The seal in the sky immediately showed signs of collapse, and large amounts of cracks appeared on it. These arrows should have been invisible, but they contained Wang Lin's faith, his hatred of the heavens, and his belief in destroying the heavens. His faith made this attack infinitely close to the faith spell of a Grand Empyrean, so it was able to solidify from nothing. The last arrow was the thunder arrow that carried a destructive arrow. It was not an arrow, but an arrow-shaped thunderbolt. It rumbled loudly as it closed in on the reincarnation seal and erupted its destructive force. This arrow only gave off a trace of the slaughter thunder, but just this sliver was enough to shake the heavens. The reincarnation seal trembled and suddenly collapsed into countless pieces that scattered everywhere. The sky seemed to collapse along with it. What collapsed with it was the Scorpion Temple under Wang Lin. The temple seemed to be unable to withstand such vibrations, and it collapsed into countless pieces that scattered in all directions. The Green Devil Scorpion Temple disintegrated. As it collapsed, the dust rushed into the air and hid Wang Lin's figure. A void tribulant aura that caused the world to tremble came from within the dust clouds. This void tribulant aura was extremely powerful and formed a vortex. This vortex caught the collapsing sky, collapsing earth, and the destructive force of the arcane tribulant. This vortex was at the centermost part of the Green Devil continent where the Green Devil Scorpion Temple was. The more than a dozen Green Devil continent cultivators all revealed looks of awe. When the pressure from the arcane void dissipated, they quickly closed in. Greetings, Lord Green Devil. Congratulations on your resurrection, Lord Green Devil. The Green Devil continent cultivators were all extremely respectful as they bowed toward the collapsed Scorpion Temple now that the arcane tribulant pressure had disappeared. The void tribulant aura inside the storm was extremely strong as it raged. As the aura scattered, the world changed colors. It was as if heaven itself was avoiding it. Inside the storm, there was a looming figure. This figure was slender and his long hair fluttered in the storm. The appearance of the figure couldn't be seen, but he released a powerful void tribulant aura. Although it was only the pressure of early-stage void tribulant cultivator, it caused the hearts of all the cultivators present to tremble. It was as if they weren't facing an early-stage void tribulant cultivator but someone at the peak of void tribulant. The figure in the storm slowly walked out after a long time and slowly became clear. Wang Lin calmly looked at the sky. He felt that after he destroyed the 9th arcane tribulant, a barrier that had been suppressing his cultivation was destroyed. This allowed his cultivation level to grow until he reached void tribulant. Void tribulant, Wang Lin closed his eyes. In his body, there was a giant vortex that was rapidly rotating. This vortex gave off a terrifying aura, and with this aura, Wang Lin felt like he only needed to open his palm to hold the world. It was a wonderful feeling. A moment later, as the storm disappeared behind him, he suddenly opened his eyes. He clenched his right hand. A popping sound echoed in his grasp. A terrifying power beyond early-stage void tribulant gathered in his hand. As he clenched his right hand, the earth below him rumbled and countless cracks spread. The pressure of his void tribulant cultivation suddenly spread out. The Green Devil continent cultivators immediately retreated and looked at Wang Lin suspiciously. They didn't feel the aura of the Green Devil Scorpion coming from Wang Lin. At this moment, their expressions all changed. The feeling of void tribulant, Wang Lin lowered his head and looked at his hand. When he was about to leave, his expression suddenly changed. After reaching void tribulant, the heaven-defying bead in his body began moving at full force. Suction force was about to spread out from his body and reach into the ground below. For the first time, Wang Lin clearly felt a fluctuation of consciousness from the heaven-defying bead. This fluctuation was filled with a strong desire. This fluctuation was not something Wang Lin could clearly feel before he reached the void tribulant stage. After his cultivation level increased, the heaven-defying bead seemed very different from before. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. After pondering a bit, he raised his right hand and threw a punch at the earth below. As his fist fell, it turned into a palm and landed on the earth. Countless cracks appeared on the earth, and the surface of the earth scattered. A destructive force erupted and entered the earth. As the earth collapsed, a giant pit tens of thousands of feet large appeared. In the blink of an eye, it reached the depths of the earth. The bottom of the Scorpion Temple was where the Green Devil Scorpion was being suppressed. At this moment, Wang Lin collapsed the ground and forcibly opened a path to where the Scorpion Soul was sealed. The moment the earth was blown open, a roar that caused the Green Devil Continent cultivators to tremble came from the pit. This roar was extremely fierce and was filled with endless resentment. As the howl echoed, large amounts of green fog charged out of the deep pit. This fog was like a pillar that shot into the air and quickly formed a giant green scorpion in the sky. The scorpion was about 100 feet large, and the moment it appeared, it cast a large shadow on the earth below. When the Green Devil Continent cultivators saw this, they revealed looks of horror. Lord Green Devil. What has happened? The soul of Lord Green Devil has appeared, then who is this person? Could it be that he isn't the resurrection of Lord Green Devil? The Green Devil Continent cultivators had doubts in their hearts. After seeing the green fog turn into the giant scorpion, an unbelievable thought surfaced in their minds. Wang Lin. He is the Heavenly Bull Continent's Wang Lin, one of the cultivators from the Devil Dao sect said. More than 100 years ago, he was at the edge of the Green Devil Continent and the Meng Earth Continent and participated in the pursuit of Wang Lin. He had some hesitation in his heart, and at this moment, there was a rumble in his mind as he recognized Wang Lin. The Green Devil Scorpion soul that came from the deep pit let out a violent hiss and its huge body flickered in the sky as it stared at Wang Lin. There were 4 seals on its body, head, tail, and front and back, emitting a suppression force. These 4 seals were made by the celestial ancestor to seal this soul and make it the power of the Green Devil Continent. Wang Lin's body was extremely small before the green scorpion. However, he stood there with a cold gaze and gave off an aura that could suppress the scorpion soul. His white hair was draped over his shoulders. As the scorpion soul roared, he raised his hand and threw a punch. This punch contained Wang Lin's ancient Dao power and his void tribulant cultivation. It formed a heaven-shattering force that charged at the scorpion soul. A thunderous rumble suddenly echoed and the scorpion soul's body trembled and was pushed back as if it had been hit by a powerful wind. The scorpion soul looked like it was going to extinguish, but at this moment, the 4 seals flashed and offset the power of Wang Lin's punch. After being pushed back tens of thousands of feet, its body still remained. Roar! The scorpion soul's body trembled and charged toward Wang Lin once more. At this moment, a dark and gloomy divine sense echoed. All Green Devil Continent cultivators, kill this person. The moment the divine sense spread out, the expressions of the more than a dozen Green Devil Continent cultivators changed. They all looked at Wang Lin and rushed towards him. The Celestial Ancestor's seal is still so powerful after so many years. This shows how powerful the Celestial Ancestor was back then. Wang Lin coldly looked at the scorpion soul closing in on him. The heaven-defying bead was operating at full speed and seemed to have reached its limit. The desire from it became even more intense. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he raised his right hand. He waved at the Green Devil Scorpion and a flash of white light came from his hand. The heaven-defying bead appeared for the first time since he arrived on the immortal Aster continent. The moment the heaven-defying bead appeared, it released endless white light and lit up the area. The moment the scorpion soul saw the heaven-defying bead, it was startled for a moment, but immediately after, endless horror and fear filled its eyes. It let out a roar, then its huge body stopped moving and retreated like crazy. White light. This is the white bead. Its look of fear and quickly retreat startled the cultivators that were charging in. Their gazes immediately gathered on the heaven-defying bead. Although the scorpion soul was retreating quickly, it was not as fast as the heaven-defying bead. The bead flew at an unimaginable speed and closed in on the giant scorpion soul. The 4 seals flickered as the bead penetrated them and directly entered the scorpion soul. The moment it entered, a terrifying suction force came from the heaven-defying bead. The scorpion soul, which was hundreds of thousands of feet large, rapidly shrank before everyone's eyes. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths. In 3 breaths of time, the huge scorpion soul shrank like crazy until it was completely absorbed by the heaven-defying bead, leaving only the 4 seals of the celestial ancestor. Without the scorpion soul to suppress, the seals turned grey and dissipated into the world. This sudden change almost made the surrounding cultivators lose their wits. To them, Wang Lin was like a nightmare. They all scattered and desperately used their spells to escape as quickly as possible. Wang Lin didn't chase after them but stood there, looking at the heaven-defying bead that had absorbed the scorpion soul. His eyes lit up and he raised his right hand and reached at the void. The heaven-defying bead immediately flew into Wang Lin's right palm. When Wang Lin grabbed the heaven-defying bead, his body trembled. He clearly felt that the heaven-defying bead had reached another level of completion and was going through a shocking change. After pondering a little, Wang Lin waved his left hand and a storm appeared around him. This storm was 1,000 kilometers wide and gave off a terrifying aura that stopped all life from entering. After setting up the protection, Wang Lin's divine sense rushed into the heaven-defying bead. He wanted to see what kind of change would happen to the heaven-defying bead after another completion. The moment Wang Lin's divine sense entered the heaven-defying bead, his vision became blurry. When he regained his vision, he was in an endless void, and there was a huge gate that seemed to connect the heavens and earth here. There was a green arm on the door that gave off a destructive aura. Heaven-defying gate. This video will end here.